Should you become a financial advisor? Yes, yes, you should. And I can say that relatively confidently, partially because if you're watching this video, you obviously have some interest in the industry already. And when I believe that you compare the financial advisor job and job function to a lot of other wealth management or even asset management roles, it's going to win out like 9 times out of 10. So if you're partially interested in it, and I'm telling you, I think it's a great job, you should probably become a financial advisor if you want to. However, let me be very clear, it may not be what you expect when you consider what a financial advisor's job might be. It's I think it's about half of what I expected, and it's a lot of other things I didn't expect. And a couple of these things are super important. You definitely wouldn't want to become a financial advisor if you really don't like doing a few key things that actual day-to-day job actually includes. So let's talk about it. I get questions from folks all the time asking, should they try to get into the industry as an advisor? Do I think they would enjoy the role? How can they switch industries later in their career? Hey, I'm 45 years old and I do whatever and I want to become a financial advisor. I actually get almost as many industry switching type questions as I do, hey, I'm in college getting into the industry type question. And one relatively common theme that I see amongst those asking this question is that they're interested in managing their own personal investments. And they've learned a lot more about the stock market. They find the stock market or capital markets as a whole interesting, and they want to help other people be able to take advantage of some of the tools that they've learned about themselves. That is not a bad place to start. However, investing in financial markets, depending on how you structure your own personal financial advisory practice or business potentially, it's probably half or more than often than not less than half of your actual day-to-day job functions. So you got to understand if you really want to do all the other stuff that comes with being a financial advisor. Probably the biggest theme that I can share with you in this video, and the biggest concept that you would want to digest in making this decision, is that being a financial advisor is largely a service-based role. And almost any job that's sort of like end customer facing is going to be that way. But it's not super common to have white collar and potentially late career style jobs like being a financial advisor is that's directly client facing. If you think about a large corporation, you usually have a sales team, and that's not what we're talking about here. When it comes to career progression and you go up the corporate ladder, it's often only like top level executives that would ever be sort of doing sales and closing deals because they're going to be dealing with other businesses. So that makes being a financial advisor pretty unique because the more that you grow in the career, the more servicing you'll be doing to direct end consumers like your clients. So what does that mean from a day-to-day basis? Well, early on in the career, I spent a whole lot more time answering emails, replying to emails, getting phone calls just to handle little tiny service requests a lot of times, giving people phone calls back, and calling people back from my end and trying to get a hold of them, leaving voicemails, whatever. You're going to have very happy clients that are really happy with your service. You're going to have people who are going to have complaints and be unhappy with the service, and then you have to talk to those people more and sort of, understand where they're coming from, apologize, field that complaint, try to make things right. All of those things are very client service oriented functions. And if you don't like providing service to others and being very patient and kind, sometimes providing education, but really like working for other people, then being a financial advisor is not going to be for you. You could love investing in the stock market, but people, more than they ask you about the stock market, are going to ask you if you think they should make their 35-year-old kid wait 5 years before receiving any of their inheritance through their trust, and tons of other random things like that really get more to understanding them as a person, understanding the dynamics of financial planning, and a whole lot of other things. Again, it's all service-oriented things. You are always in service to your clients. Every time you're working, you're doing something for other people. Now, as I've progressed in the career, and certainly with where I'm at now, I've been at the place I work for 8 years, my service-oriented work is almost totally through client meetings. Now, sometimes those are virtual or phone calls, but a lot of times it's just sitting down with Mr. and Mrs. Smith and talking for an hour or potentially more about what's going on in their life, how do we need to adjust their finances to best facilitate what they need to be accomplishing in life, and then educating them on how to do that, selling them on the ideas on how you think that needs to get done, and then ultimately like servicing them and following up and checking in and all the regular things that I just discussed about the early career job functions. Basically what I'm saying is you'll just do more face-to-face sit-down client meetings where you are in service to them. They're coming to you for advice and they're paying for a service, compared to earlier in the career where you're doing more email and phone call based conversations. It's still a lot of the same type of a relationship, a service based relationship. So to wrap all this up, if you become a financial advisor, you're going to be doing a lot of friendly conversations, a lot of handshaking, and just a lot of getting along with people and working with people. And you want to know that before getting into the career. I think everyone knows that it's like a people business, but you just might not think about the fact that being a people business means that you're totally in service to others all the time while you're working, and it's a big deal. And I think it's enjoyable, and many people might find it enjoyable to just like help others all the time in their job. But it can be draining too. And if you weren't wired that way in your own head and you didn't like serving other people, then you're gonna get annoyed with a job as a financial advisor pretty quick. The next biggest concept that I could tell anyone watching this video is that probably less than 10% of your daily job functions are going to revolve around following financial markets. And that may sound surprising if you've never talked with a financial advisor before about what they really do, but almost any portfolio manager, certainly the ones we use as retail financial advisors, once you've put together a portfolio, the majority of the activity in that portfolio moving forward is just going to be sitting and waiting. In a diversified portfolio of different assets, which may include U.S. stock market index funds, or it may include municipal bonds. Whatever it is, most strategies are not day trading strategies. And so you're not going to be turning over positions daily, weekly, even monthly or quarterly sometimes. So it's more about building out a portfolio, but then letting it ride. And you certainly want to know about financial markets so that you can be informed on what's going on out there in the world. Certainly you'll need to talk with clients and help inform them about what's going on. But you're just not making, it's not like a hedge fund where you're making all these adjustments or investments or bets based on Turkey, the price of crude oil here, or Turkey's exports to Italy, or whatever, just all these like macroeconomic trend things. It's not a big part of the job function. The vast majority of your time is going to be spent doing other things: phone calls, emails, a bunch of compliance stuff, paperwork, these types of functions that are going to prevent you from watching the price of Nvidia versus AMD throughout the day every day. That's a little bit of the job, but minority of the job for sure. This video isn't really to talk about money, how much money a financial advisor can make. I actually have other videos on this channel, I think, titled exactly that. But part of the reason why I started this off by saying, yes, you probably should become a financial advisor is because the job can pay very, very well, better than I would say mid to upper level, like corporate management jobs. So I'm talking 10 to 20 years into someone's career. Being a local retail financial advisor can pay better than that type of thing. So of course that's an aspect. Compensation is an aspect with any job, any career, and it's important. And it's compensation is generally thought of to be above average as a financial advisor, at least put it that way. So just to hit that necessity, again, you can learn more about the details of that in other videos on my channel, but just to make sure to hit on that conversation in the should I become an advisor video, yeah, you probably should. And as always, thanks for watching.